You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
March 20th is celebrated as the International Day of Happiness. It's a UN-designated day dedicated to the importance of happiness in people's life. According to this year's World Happiness Report, Canada ranks 15th. Well, one thing that might help in your journey toward happiness is this book, Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, a spiritual self-help workbook by Devina Kaur. It's for anyone who's tired of hating and hiding their unique, authentic self. And joining us now is Devina Kaur. Thanks very much for speaking with us this afternoon.
Hi, Ian, and thank you for having me.
So, how would you define happiness?
So, Ian, just before I came on today's show, I asked everybody around me, people I met while dog walking, people I met in elevators, like, what is your definition of happiness? And interestingly enough, everybody's definition of happiness is different. And happiness isn't about the absence of problems or the stress that we all are going through right now, or the mental health issues are at their highest. Happiness is how we define it and what it means to you as an individual.
I wonder, is there anything that happened in your life that made you start thinking in a different way, that you realize there is a different approach to happiness?
Well, I myself have actually overcome self-harm thoughts and suicidal thoughts. And one day I was sitting by the river and I was like, I'm just going to jump in and end my life because I was so unhappy with everything that was going on. I was going through a divorce. I was very stressed at work. But then there was this little voice in me that said, you know what? Wait, before you end up killing yourself, which was the easier solution, I was like, why don't you go within and see what it is that your purpose is? And that's how my shift happened, the constant questioning, the decision to not end my life. And yes, like this right now with COVID, we're all struggling in different ways.
Well, we're glad you made the right decision. Absolutely. There's no doubt there are skeptics right now. It has been a tough year. A lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people dealing with social isolation. What would you say directly to those people who are dealing with the real impact of COVID-19?
Yeah, so, like happiness and the pain, the suffering, the struggle that we're all going through, it's not about denying our darkness. It's not about denying our emotions. Our emotions are sacred. We have to pay attention to them. And the more we listen to our emotions, the more we're going to realize that they're always talking to us. And, I'll give you an example. The car battery runs on the negative and the positive, and it takes both of that to make a car run. So similarly, our emotions are, the reason to live, to find joy, in spite of not having work, in spite of struggling with so much. And we all know somebody or the other who's struggling with mental health, job loss. So we just have to say, you know what? Yes, this is what's going on. But this moment of, for example, me being happily on camera right now, it's to find those little joys in everything that we do. And that's the key.
I checked out your YouTube page, and you have some video on there of you volunteering. That's part of your equation, isn't it, to happiness?
Yes. So I find the more gratitude I give, the more I give back, whether it's time, energy, emotions. I love to volunteer. It's part of my culture. I'm born and raised in India. And also, we run a nonprofit foundation. Sexy Brilliant is 100% registered nonprofit foundation, and our mission is to remove toxic shame and raise human consciousness. So that's what I live. I live and do it every day. And the more I do it, the more I find the joy and abundance I can share with the world. And that's a choice that we all have to make, to give thanks to what we have.
All right. Well, thanks very much for sharing your story with us, and have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend, too.
Thank you, and happy Happiness Day to everybody.
All right. Thanks very much. And for more information to connect with Devina, go to her website, sexybrilliant.org. You can find her on various social media platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.